the obviously as you work, not much sure about the insurance industry, but if say you are working for a bank, investment banking, and some of the products are exotic options. So exotic options is like Standard Bank and ABSA agree on a product, which you now as the investment analyst has to price, right? So that has not been done by anyone. So you have to use your school skill. Now,
like that first.
Yes. First principle thinking. And then you wonder which of the methods to use for pricing.
What exactly is an exotic option?
An exotic option is just an option which is not the standard core and put. So what do they normally rely on? For example, I could give an example of barrier options, Asian options, and other types of exotics. So they depend on certain characteristics. Like if it is a barrier option, we are signing a contract which you would say, look, I want to buy crude oil next year.
Okay.
But I can only buy if on the way I see that the price is behaving like this.
Okay.
You know, that's a different option than the normal.
Yeah, it's not just
It's contingent on what I'm observing.
Okay.
And you have to also know that the time when you decide to say, I want take my price,
yes,
and my premium. Also, it's a random variable. So because of that, they become quite weird, depending on how they are designed.
Yeah.
Some have names, some are just over the counter, which two people can just design and give to the expert to say, can you price this one? And they are quite difficult to handle in most of the cases. Those that are known, of course, they've already been priced, but usually the market doesn't want the standard.
Yes, because things are sort of way more neat, right?
So they tailor make according to their needs. So
and I think what's quite interesting about what you're saying there, I mean, I don't really interact in the investment space, so an exotic option to me sounds like an option that went on holiday. But it's interesting how you talk about like that creativity, right? So saying you really need to understand the situation and they make this kind of tailor-made option, and there is an element of creativity.
Right? It is. And because, I mean, the two entities which are signing, because usually exotics are over the counter, right? It's not, so within the derivatives discussion, there are those standardized, derivatives, like European core, those are standardized on a market. You can actually go to Bloomberg and get the market prices. Right? But if it is a barrier option, you can rarely get that because these are over the counter. They depend on the parties because their pricing, their valuation is actually just designed by two people. You and me would design a different barrier option. You and the other one a different barrier option. So there are so many variations that people tailor make. So yes, there's that creativity from the designers and also that creativity from the people who price. And you can't go wrong because it's money. So that's why you are there in investment banking as a financial mathematician. Before I came here, I think I had got a job with one of the banks, big ones. I don't think it's necessary to mention. But because of my interest in teaching, I decided to come to UCT. But then to go to Joburg and work for that department, handing it up. So so I'll be doing that type of job. Even our students when they leave, like David Taylor's program, and work for as an investment analyst, etc.
I think my last question to you would just be, what are the need for derivatives and options? I mean, it's obvious that you're exposed to that space, right? But let's say I'm a trick student or a first year actuarial student, and I'm like, I'm listening to this podcast, I'm hearing about options and derivatives. Like, what is that kind of thing? Like, I know that obviously as an actuary, I manage risk, but how do they help me manage risk?
So the risk component is, there are two things that I can do if I want foreign currency, for example, as an example. I know as my business would require me to buy US dollars next year for me to import something, for example, right? But the exchange rate is not deterministic, right?
Yeah.
It goes up and down.
We know that, and the late.
So I want to hedge that risk of having a very low exchange rate next year. So that's why I would say let's suppose I go to Standard Bank and say, look, I want to buy $1 million US, from you, my rand.
But only in a year's time.
But only in a year's time.
Yeah.
And look what the exchange rate is doing. Now it's 1:18, the exchange rate. And my feeling is that next year, this time it will be 1:90. So can I lock in that price with you?
Yeah.
Right?
So that I have some certainty.
I have certainty.
Yeah.
Right? So that when it comes next year, this time, I will simply bring the rand equivalent at 1:90. So it's a predetermined agreement.
Exactly.
And now Standard Bank has also to have the same thinking with me. They may say, it won't be 1:19, but 1:2. So you are almost like both of you trying to bet with the market.
Yeah.
And come the next year, one of you has an option. So that's why they are called option, to opt out.
Yeah.
But at the expense of a premium that they were paid a year before.
Yeah, otherwise there'd be no incentive, right? Like, why would I promise you something that is beneficial to you or could be detrimental to me?
So you pay a premium, the buyer of the option will pay a premium. And then if they arrive at that time and the deal is not beneficial to the buyer of the option, then you opt out and you won't lose the premium, which is calculated using the present value stories.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
It was so insightful. I think we touched on so many topics. I think this is one of the most, the meatiest interviews I've had. So honestly, thank you so much, Prof. Sure.
All right, you are welcome.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for listening, and see you on our next episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review on your preferred streaming platform. If you'd like to interact with us more, or add questions or topics to our pool of ideas, please follow our Instagram page at ASForActuary or email us on asforactuary@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Take care.